Hello, a wonderful morning goes out to all the viewers of this morning. So wherever you are, thank you very much for always joining us on this program. My name is Ibrahim Abalde. We are back on the Wednesday edition of your favorite morning program. You ready to conquer your day? This is the platform that will give you all that you need. So if you are in the office, following this program, we're sending love and likes to you. If you're at home, relaxing, are you at your shop, also watching this program? And for those that are watching from the diaspora, we're saying thank you very much for always following the likes of Ibrahim Jawara. He always sends his comments on this program. So I am with Mam Nabuka. Good morning, Mam Nabu.
Good morning.
How are you? Fine. I'm good. How is everything going?
I wish I had a cup of coffee with me here.
Oh yeah, I think we have to start doing that. As far as the embargo is finished already. Yes. So how are you? Yesterday you came in the afternoon. Were you reading the news?
Yes,
I didn't watch the news yesterday.
Oh really?
Yes,
you should.
Yes, I was on errand, so I couldn't just watch.
We had a really good lineup of stories. You should watch it.
I think I'll watch it later. Yes. So Mr. Momodu Mboj is our newspaper review guest. Good morning, Mr. Mboj.
Good morning, Mr. Balde.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
How was your yesterday? Don't laugh.
Just as my day before yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Things are quite monotonous for us now. The only thing that changes is the name of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Tuesday, today Wednesday. That's the only thing that changes, really. But the rhythm, the pace, and the stuff.
Yeah, do you realize days go by very fast now?
It's actually, it's so insane.
It was weekend not long ago, and weekend is coming again.
Wednesday.
Should we be scared or should we just be happy? I don't know. I'm confused.
I think we've had a similar conversation like this before, and I think when you become productive, when you're doing a lot throughout the day, time seems to move faster. So I think it's a good thing. It's nothing to be afraid of.
To be worried.
Yeah.
And there's something they've noticed as well. When you're getting older, the days are much faster than when you're younger. When you're younger, you have so much time. But when you're older, it changes. It's a question of perspective.
Yeah.
Depending on
You
age.
see, when I was much younger, I think I didn't even start going to school. You understand? It was, I think, 1989 or 89.
Wow.
There was a time, it was 89, always 89. So I realized the months change, but the year don't change. So I keep wondering,
what's going on?
What's going on? What happened? But these months, they change, January, February. My dad keeps talking about, okay, this month has end, and we go to March or another month. But that 89 is always there. So then I did not learn, okay, in December, then the year is going to change.
Year will come.
Yeah, so sometimes to be a child, it's really something, So we'll take a look at the African Code. From the Code, the newspaper review with Mr. Momodu Mboj. And we'll also be talking to Hassoum Ceesay, historian, very respected in the Gambia and the world at large, elected fellow of the British Academy. Protecting journalists ahead of 2026 elections. We'll be talking to Modu S. Diouf, Secretary General of the Gambia Press Union. Thank you very much, viewers. This is our program lineup for today. We'll head straight to the newspaper, to the African Code.
I love that today they've told us exactly where the quote, like the proverb, comes from.
It's a Bambara proverb.
It's a Bambara proverb, and it reads, "Don't sit on the horse's nose, no matter how much you know about horses."
Yeah.
I think I would look at it like, once you've mastered your craft, don't relax. I think I've had a similar conversation with you, Mr. Mboj, and you were telling me about how good it is to challenge yourself along the way, and how interesting it is to still have butterflies about things you have, deep experience about.
For me, when I read this, the first thing that came to mind was that other English phrase, to get up somebody's nose. So I thought, of course you don't want to sit on the horse's nose, because you'll piss the horse off.
Yeah.
Just because you know me, or you think you know me, doesn't mean that you can do anything you like. So for me, that was it. Knowing your limits. It doesn't matter who you think you are or what you think you know. There are limits.
It's, yeah.
To everything, really. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
How do you see it, Balde?
Well, the proverb is telling you, do not take certain things for granted. You know, you might get all the things in your preview, but you know, you have to do the right thing always. You know, let's talk about the relation between you know, colleagues, Mr. Mboj. You know, we have this working relation. You know, there are things that we joke about, but I understand where to stop. I understand where to draw the line. You know, there are things that, you know, when we get there, I will know this is my elder. I shouldn't pass this line. So I shouldn't sit on your nose. I have to be very careful. Otherwise, it might bring repercussions.
What do you mean might? It will bring
It will.
repercussions.
It will, of course.
not when you're dealing with Mboj.
Of course.
But I will let you
I
know.
I know that.
You
I know. So Mr. Mboj doesn't let it go.
No.
He will deal with you
I
there.
will tell you.
Yes.
So
yes,
you
yes,
handle it the way
yes,
you want
yes,
to handle it,
yes.
but I will tell you.
Yes.
Absolutely. Do you know how many times I get so pissed off with the younger kids, how they deal with adults? They don't know how to joke with adults anymore. Anything goes. So with me, when I find myself in certain situations, I just keep a straight face. I wouldn't even laugh at you. Sooner or later, you will see your errors, and then you walk away. Stuff like
You know,
that.
like with the older generation, like there was a lot of respect
Oh, yeah.
when it came to dealing with elders. But I think with us, there's a sense of entitlement that comes with, oh, just because Mola Menune, he's always like, right, or I have to do this, or I have to do that. So that's also a problem. They use it to disrespect elders sometimes, or not know where to draw lines when they're having conversations with people that are older than them or are more experienced than them.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's this Latin phrase with us, we took it for granted, seniores priores. Priority to seniors. That's really how we grew up.
Yes.
But now things have changed a little. The boundaries that we had, now we are redrawing. All the boundaries are being redrawn. Well, fine. Perhaps that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? You just don't want the same structure, the same system over and over again. So that society is not dynamic. It's not moving.
So I think society should be free. We should open up. You know, each and every person should be able to interact, you know, to a certain stage or a certain level. You know, when I talk to you know, my dad, he will tell me, you see, when we were kids, we have this kind of relation with our parents. Even if your dad is sitting, you are not even brave to talk. You understand? So that's the kind of relation they used to have, you know, because of, okay, too much of, I mean, respect. They felt, okay, there are certain things you shouldn't even talk to your parents about. But now for us, we've changed that. You know, you meet us at home with our dad sitting, and dad will be brewing attire and sharing.
Absolutely.
You know, so we have that relation. We talk like, okay, we are men. We talk like, that's how we have the relation. So you can see how society is changing now.
Absolutely, and that's not a bad thing. Because even though you've changed now, your father would brew the attire, but the respect still is there.
It's still
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Yes, we know where to.
There needs to be a
Where
delicate
to draw
balance.
the
Yes,
boundaries.
exactly.
Everything, you must have your boundaries. So that is the key. Just having your boundaries, things will constantly shift. For instance, with us when we were younger, we used to be beat up all the time with grown-ups. Not so much now.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of relationship with my children. But with us as kids, boy, people felt that they had the right to beat you up as long as they were older than you.
Yeah.
So that sort of thing. So things will shift. But again, certain clear lines of respect must also be there.
Absolutely.
That's the healthy society, really.
Yeah, that makes it-
between the younger ones and the
Yeah,
elders.
yeah.
I mean, between age mates, I think it's very important that you set boundaries and just know that this is
Yeah.
what shouldn't be crossed.
There are things that you know you don't take.
Yeah.
There are things that you know, okay, this is where it stops. I will not allow even my colleague. You see, I'll tell you something. There are things that, you know, when they're done to you, you have to get up and speak up instantly. When you drag it, you know, that might repeat itself again. So I think each and every person should take note of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and particularly with this one, it doesn't matter how much you think. You can apply it in all sorts of areas.
In all sorts of ways. Yeah.
Relationships. Because I think that I know Balde so well, then I start taking liberties. That's wrong. Or I'm the boss of a place. I've returned, I've got my 2 PhDs, not just 1, 2. I think I know it all. I come to an institution, instead of learning about the reality on the ground, I want to impose what I think that I know. Problems will occur.
Yeah.
So in so many different areas, even as a leader, I think that I know the country or the organization or anything, so I think that I can do anything. It doesn't work like that. Do not sit on the horse's nose. It doesn't matter how much you think you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Viewers, tell us what you think of this proverb. Tell us your interpretation on our social media handles. You know, we'll be very happy, to read it out to our viewers. Yeah, so we'll take a short break and acknowledge our sponsors. When we are back, then we have a list of newspapers here. Then we'll take a look at them. We'll be back.
Biggest network with the cheapest tariff in the Gambia, and enjoy crystal clear calls and super fast internet at the cheapest tariff only with QCell. Rush now and grab your free QCell SIM card today from any of our care centers near you. QCell, the biggest network with the cheapest tariff. QCell Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow.
In December 2026, Gambians head to the polls to choose a president, and history may hang in the balance. As the day draws near, every week, right up to Decision Day, QTV will lead the political conversation. And nobody breaks it down like QTV. Our team of experts will help you understand the results as QTV brings you Decision 2026. A weekly program dissecting the issues, driving the debate, and giving Gambians a front row seat to the hottest topics for the defining election of our time. Hear differing views, put forward and challenged, manifestos dissected and explained. Stay informed, stay engaged. Stay tuned to QTV for everything you need to know about this year's election. Decision 2026, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Only on QTV.
Welcome back. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde and I'm with Ma'am Nabuka. If you're just tuning in, we've already dealt with our African code. And of course, we've also, we've also dealt with some of the interpretation, and we are waiting for you to send us what you think. On the Point newspaper, we have the main headline which reads, "More safety concerns raised at Gambia's industrial zones." This one is talking about safety. Probably there was a tour that was held by authorities. To find out how safe is our industries. So this is also a very important thing. Let's talk about safety, Mr. Modumboj. Most of the time, we do not take heed on safety precautions. We do things the way we felt they are. That's why most of the time we have, very serious incidents or accidents, that can lead to death sometimes.
Absolutely. Sometimes you can take all the safety measures, yet that wouldn't prevent you from having accidents. Accidents come anyway.
Yeah.
The notion of safety precaution is this: in case there's an accident, you minimize the damage done to you. That is why certain building sites, you gotta have your headgear in case anything drops on you, or your metal steel cap with your shoes, stuff like that. So that is it. But with us, we don't really do that, because you don't really have the authority that would enforce safety regulation. With us, we are not very good with enforcement. That is really what the issue is. But anywhere in the world where they enforce regulation, yes, anywhere you are, there are certain safety precautions that you should take, you know, for your own sake and for others. So sometimes it's not just for you, and for others as well. So yes, we keep on saying all of these things, but you don't have the mechanism in place to make sure that people conform to these regulations. So that's our problem, really.
Well, I guess this invited because I think it's safety concerns raised, meaning they went and inspected and noticed something is wrong, so
Yes.
something can be done. I think it was one of the things we were talking about the last segment we had on Monday when we saw the bridge collapse in URR.
Yes.
So taking these proactive measures and seeing what is wrong, what can be done, maybe it can push action.
Well, we've been talking for a very long time. I haven't seen anything that would mean that it will push action.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We're always talking. We're always talking. But to move away from talking to actually being an action person, you know, that has been a massive issue. So it's pointless just talking about it. Structurally, it isn't, we are not like that. I just haven't seen it. Maybe you may have an individual who owns, I don't know, a building, so he enforces it. You as a person, maybe you are on a project and you're working in a building site where you should be concerned about your workers, their safety,
Right.
then I enforce it. But if I'm going to wait for any other state institution and all of that to come and enforce, you are not going to see it. They don't even have your time. So I must think it and do it. In my limited area, as it were, anywhere you are, in my limited area, I should think like that. Even in the office, you can have the cleaner come and clean it, but it's slippery.
Yeah.
So what notice do I put out to people? Be careful, you can slip, stuff like that. So either we do it ourselves, but we don't have state institutions to do it. Well, we do, but they just don't. This is our problem.
Exactly. So Gambia
They don't.
finishes probe of ambassador at embassy in Russia. There was an allegation that, that's the Point newspaper, there was an allegation that was going round that the ambassador, bit up his meat to an extent causing body harm, So this is not the first time we've been seeing or hearing these things. You remember some time ago, one of the, diplomatic missions of Gambia, I forgot the country, where the driver and the ambassador themselves, they encountered, they were fighting at some point. Someone bit off the finger of the driver. Is it the driver? Yeah, I cannot remember.
I can vaguely remember that story.
Yeah, so
the details
this is not the first time this kind of things, happening. And now the government was looking into it. So now they said they finished, that investigation. So should our diplomatic, missions embarked in such kind of acts?
I'm not sure what you mean by that. They said they had completed their investigation. So
yes.
we need to know their
the
findings.
outcome, yeah.
So should in case
one.
it's true?
Well, that's one. And two, this is just one incident. I am not sure whether there's a problem with our diplomatic mission. You've generalized.
That's why
it.
I
It's an
reminded
individual.
you of
It's an
what
individual.
happened, I think last year or year before last.
But, okay, fine. Let's add that to it. Two incidents. You see, with human beings.
So how about the one that
sometimes-
was accused of a visa fraud in the U.S.?
I said, what are they doing about it? So where you have individuals, many, sometimes the sack of apples, sometimes you're going to have rotten ones. It's a question of how do you get rid of them.
Yeah.
You really cannot legislate and enforce for every individual, every human being, what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. Sometimes, just as here, sometimes we commit crimes and they take us to court. We know that we shouldn't, but that's just the nature of life. So I don't think there's a problem with our diplomatic mission. You just have sort of these isolated cases. So it depends on how you deal with that. Maybe how you deal with that might serve as a bit of a deterrent. Everybody would see that, ooh, if I go beyond a certain line, there will be consequences.
Right.
I think the danger is where there'll be no consequences. You know, in our societies, that's how we live. When you are in a certain position, you can do things. There'll be hardly any
Especially
consequences.
with these domestic cases, usually it doesn't end in anything that you would regard as, oh, this is serious, I should mind myself, you know. But I would just look at it as a case of personal misconduct. I don't think it's something that should be used to generalize how we look at our diplomatic missions across countries. So,
Absolutely, and that person should face the consequences of your actions. Everybody, you must face the consequences of your actions.
yeah.
So that is it. I don't think there's a general problem. Maybe there's an individual one.
It would have been better if we knew what the findings were.
Yeah, exactly. You need to know what the findings were.
Okay. So now let's head to the Standard newspaper. The main headline, journalist barred from parliamentary probe into border issues.
You mean all journalists are bad from
Yes,
that?
it's plural, journalists.
Yes. Oh.
So, I mean, are there sittings that journalists shouldn't have access to? I think as far as the conversation has to do with the issues of our border, it's important for us to, I mean, know what actually resolutions they've come up with.
Yes, there are certain occasions, I think, that you must hold meetings or sittings, whatever, what they call in camera.
Right.
Without anybody there.
Privately, yeah.
Yes. We see that it happens in courts. There are certain cases, maybe it might involve children or vulnerable groups or security.
Or sensitive information.
Sensitive stuff. One understands that. Well, with this one, I'm trying to get my head around why they wouldn't want journalists to
Well,
be in there.
Do you think they should have
What's
provided
the security?
justification,
Yes.
justification for
What's
it?
the security
So
reasons?
the problem here is, I mean, when they're talking about border crisis here, border issues, it's not a new thing. These have been out and, I mean, everywhere, and everybody knows what exactly is happening. So now if they are to see in camera without journalists being involved, then what must be that issue?
That's it. Obviously, for some of us, the first question we ask is, what are they trying to hide?
Yeah.
What is going on here? We're talking about border issues. What is the confidentiality element within it that you shouldn't have journalists in there? So they may know. I wouldn't claim to know everything, as it were. Maybe they have a valid, good reason why they're doing that. I'm just scratching my head to identify it, as it were. I just do not know. We've been hearing certain talks, and I will say it, that apparently with the border demarcation, the Senegalese came with their map, but the Gambia, is it Lands Office, wherever, we couldn't produce our map.
Yes. So
We're hearing all sorts of things. So what
Yes.
is going on
Yes.
that maybe they're trying to hide?
yes.
I do not
So
know.
what is this telling us? If Gambia cannot provide
Be
papers-
careful, it's an allegation.
Yes.
It's an allegation.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
If at all it's true, we cannot provide papers to show the demarcation of the Gambia border. What is this telling us in keeping records as a country?
Oh, come on, let's be honest. For a very, very long time. Actually, your next guest, the historian, will tell you,
I think-
will tell you that during colonial times, you had better records than post-independence.
And
We are not really that very good with keeping reports.
and now
about
we
the
have
rest of
all
it.
the latest technologies, and we cannot still do.
Technology cannot help you.
If
Without
you-
the right
but
attitude.
yeah.
Technology will never help
right
you
attitude
anything
or the right
without
capacity
the
to
right
drive it.
attitude. You just be wasting it. This is what we've
So
been
you
talking
mean
about.
we need attitudinal change?
I can manipulate the technology to really whatever I want. People have been doing it all over. Look at the way we use IT with all that knowledge to commit cybercrime. You know what I mean? So these things are neutral. Just depends on what you do with them.
Yeah.
You know, really.
Exactly.
So, I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, we need to find out. Yeah, so in Buduk, there was an issue. It looks like a political issue. When they were conducting their graduation, the guest speaker, who is a UDP sympathizer, was the guest speaker, the one identified by the school. But at some point, almost to the dying minutes of the event, they called it off and they introduced a different person. So some of the people said this is politically motivated because Buduk is in Nyanija. And Nyanija, it's also the village of Sidi Njai. You understand? So many people were mentioning Sidi, probably he is involved in this. It's not something that is factual. I mean, I'm just telling you from what people are saying. So now Buduk school controversy deepens as chairman debunks minister. You understand? I don't think our education system, we should bring issues of politics within.
No, we cannot avoid politics in whatever we do. I don't think that is the issue. Here, whoever said school debunks whatever, we need to know what you said to know whether you had actually debunked it. So many times we use these words, debunk, refute. When nobody did any such thing, you just assert. These are different things. I need much more for what I do to be described as debunking. Debunking is a different ball game. So here, what happened? Who made the decision to change the speaker? Let's just stick to the facts.
Yes.
Then we will find out. Is there a bigger, broader political issue? Maybe. But let's look at the minutiae, the little details, then we can build up a case, for this
well,
or for that.
I understand something because I watched the video. And that video, I'm not going to say, it's a made-up video. When they changed the guest speaker, the one that they introduced, the guy was saying, we understand, okay, the teachers that were giving information to Watson Gambia, we all know those people. So we will transfer those 4 teachers, to another school. So what is this telling you?
We need to grow up. Can the grown-ups in the house get up and take control, take charge? I know that we're heading towards election. Everybody knows that. But sometimes you have these sort of people going around trying to politicize everything, trying to show that they're much closer, I do not know, to the president or whatever, trying to do whatever the president wants. We just need to grow up. Otherwise, it will just spoil sort of so much. Let's just grow up and do grown-up politics. The school, why do you need to take your party political stuff into a school?
Into a school.
You don't need to do that. It's unnecessary. Have your rally, have your campaigns. You can do all of that. But for the school, it should be a wholesome atmosphere. The school, that's really where I should expect UDP, NPP, PDOIS, whatever, maybe our children or our nieces or our nephews are sort of graduating. We come together as a community. Then afterwards, we can go and have our debates.
But do you think
It's a question
sometimes
of
there's
being grown
intention
up.
to play into sensationalism to invite talks around things like this, conversations?
Yes, you have immature people think that that's the way to politics. You have immaturity all over the place, to be quite honest with you. So that's what it is. The slightest thing they want to politicize it so that to show that they are sort of pure, honest or whatever, they are diehards, as it were, to show my party colors. I have to show my party colors every time. So people will say that, oh, this one is the genuine article. He's in there. He's just a hothead. Let's just avoid the hotheads and we know where to put our party politics and where to behave like a community. We all come together.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds very silly, I have to be honest with you.
Well, I
sounds
think,
very silly.
I think we are focusing more on things that are not relevant as a country than things that we should do. We have a future to build for our young ones. We have a country to move. But we are more focused and busy on petty talks, looking at parties, each and every person pushing and pulling on things that are irrelevant. So I think it's dragging us behind.
everything has its just emphasis. Time to campaign for my party? Oh, you go and do that. Time to stand up for the community? See, there's no partisanship in that. You stand for that. So it's all a matter of maturity and being sophisticated, I suppose, in some instances.
I was gonna say that right conversations are not being had, right questions are not being asked. So it makes space to have silly. It's so.
The devil makes work for idle hands.
Yeah.
When you don't talk about the serious stuff, then it's just idle stuff you're going to talk about.
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Mboch.
My pleasure.
This time already.
So keep busy.
Yeah, so we'll be taking a short break, and after the break, we'll be talking to Hassoum Ceesay, historian, elected fellow of the British Academy. Yeah, so we'll be right back after the break.
Q Money is changing the game with mobile money payment. Now, you can pay your QCell mobile broadband plan faster, easier, and way more convenient with your Q Money wallet. Just open the Q Money app or dial *323#. Select option 4 to buy or pay your broadband plan in seconds. No stress, no lines, no last-minute panic. Whether you're streaming your favorite shows, browsing the web, or working from home, stay connected without missing a beat. Stay connected the easy way with QMoney's QCell mobile broadband payments anytime, anywhere. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sumi Carpet. Terms and conditions apply.
In today's world, speed matters, but slow internet can hold you back. Now, the future of connectivity has arrived in the Gambia. QCell's Q-Fiber, ultra-fast, ultra-reliable internet designed for the way you live. Stream your favorite shows without buffering. Power your business with seamless video calls. Study, work, and play online like never before. From homes to businesses, QCell Fiber is connecting the Gambia to the future. QCell's Q-Fiber. Get connected today. Call 145 or 300-3779. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the QCell.
Welcome back. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now let's move on to the other segment of this program. Gambian elected fellow of the British Academy. We have Mr. Hassoum Ceesay, historian. Good morning, Hassoum.
Good morning.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I think this is well deserved, considering the footprints that you've recorded in this country.
Footprints.
Yeah, so thank you. It will definitely go down, to our history books too. Yes. So it's good to have you on this program.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be on this very, very important, program. Important in the sense that I mean, you do your work very well. I mean, I follow it. It's very, tight. Well produced. So it's my pleasure to come here.
Thank you.
To talk to you on my elevation as a fellow of the British Academy. Now, even before you start asking your questions, I also want to pay homage to QTV and the radio. I mean, over the years, they have been very good partners, if I may say.
Absolutely.
And the editor-in-chief, Mr. Ade, is a good man who is also a historian in his own right, and who also, contributes a lot to our access to historical material and sources, which has really helped our work.
Thank you.
Yes, I said I would just start on that
Yes.
nice note.
Thank you. So we appreciate it. We are happy
Yes.
to have you. So,
Thank you.
I mean, let's talk about how do you feel, I mean, being elected to this academy?
Well, I mean, it's an honor. The academy was created in 1902.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yes, it is the leading institution in Britain that promotes study and research in the humanities and social sciences. So it is a British institution, a highly respected one for that matter. Now, being a fellow means that a lot of effort was made, you know, to sort of assess our oeuvre, that's our work in these relevant, you know, humanities areas. In my case, history in particular, and then there was also peer review, as we say, and then an election. There's General Assembly, where all the fellows have to agree that Hasum Sisse's you know, production of knowledge, in this case in history and a bit of archaeology, is worthy of being a fellow of this very, very prestigious institution.
Okay.
Usually it is a place for professors, you know, and academia like that. Yeah. So this is a big moment for me, and for all those who wish me well, all those who follow me, and you know who. I mean, Balde, you know, I feel very, very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Because every now and then, you know, people come to me, you know, in the belief that I can assist them.
Yes.
You know, solve some historical question, or, you know, or conundrum. You know, and I do it with pleasure.
Yeah.
You know, it is part of my work too. You know, that's what I do at the museum, basically history, heritage, you know, and the archives. So I feel highly appreciated in this country. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hasum, I know it's not an easy journey from where you started. I mean, we understand you have a wealth of knowledge as far as the Gambia history is concerned in different areas. But how did you manage to come to this point? I mean, tell us the journey.
Well, first of all, at Armitage, I had a good history teacher. That matters, Balde.
Okay.
I mean, a good teacher matters, you know.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Sambayo, you know, in fact, he was so enamored of me that he took me in. You know, Armitage is ordinarily a boarding school.
Yes.
But he took me in, you know, and put a mattress in his, you know, parlor at the staff quarters, just to keep me, you know, more comfortable. You know, and there I had access to all these books, Eddie Boahen, you know, Ajayi, I mean, Hobsbawm, you know, I mean, Dawda Fall, I mean, Florence Mahoney, you know, Patience Godwin Sonko, all these, you know, I had access to their, you know, to their work. Now, in the early 90s also, as a student at the University of Sierra Leone, at the Farabia College, I think they have the most formidable history library in this world. It's just like 3-story buildings of nothing but history books. Of course, they're all, I mean, archaic, you know, almost like antiques, you know, dating to the 40s and 50s, you know, quite dusty. But I had a lot of good use, you know, for those, materials. And then finally, also, you know, when I joined the, you know, museum in the late 90s, you know, I was lucky to have bosses, you know, who, you know, were quite generous, you know, allowing me to do things, you know, research, write. You know, I used to do a history column in the Daily Observer, you know, which I inherited from my uncle, Alaj A. Cham Diouf, you know. So all these things sort of added to my interest in researching and writing and teaching. Gambian history. Yes.
That's quite an impressive background.
Yeah.
Like you've been saying, I would like to congratulate you again. It's
Thank
such an
you very
honor to
much.
have
Thank
you
you.
here.
Yeah.
Like I said, you've had such an impressive background, and I think one of the most important things is how you've been putting Gambian history into mainstream for people to access it, especially with marginalized voices like women, past colonial chiefs.
Oh,
Now that you've been elected, I want to know how you intend to leverage this position to advance the work that you've been already doing, and what do you look forward to achieving the most?
Well, the election is like a shot in the arm for me. It will ginger me up to do even more than what I'm currently doing. Particularly because and but you should listen to this also, because you are also in this sector. The humanities and social sciences are really under assault. Even in the UK, many universities are cutting down on the teaching of humanities, like sociology, anthropology, languages, history, these very important subjects. Because now the craze is to, science, technology, and so on. So what this will do is for me to really put the focus on more of our youth being interested in and taking up scholarship in the humanities and social sciences. We need scientists, yes, technologies and so on, okay? But we also need anthropologists. I overheard you, bemoaning, things like attitudes and things like that. And our obsession, with the irrelevant. We need anthropologists to study that. What are Gambian attitudes? Anthropologists to study that, because that's their work.
Yeah.
Either physical anthropology or cultural anthropology. How do our various cultures, meet? How do they share? How do they converge? That is a recipe for nation building. So a subject like anthropology is extremely relevant. Sociology. You see, history. I also overheard you. Decrying the fact that a few people seem to learn, from mistakes, of the past. How can they, if there is very, very little historical consciousness? You see, many of the things we are getting, or not getting, is likely because of our level of historical consciousness or our lack of historical consciousness. You see, so I hope to do more work on that. As you use a very good word, making history accessible. That is what I have also been doing. Thanks to platforms like this. When anniversaries come, we use those anniversaries. The Kukoy Sambasanyang attempted coup was just last week. We did some interviews and we are doing some more interviews.
Okay.
Because we also use those opportunities. Because it looks like when these anniversaries come, Gambians are interested in some of these historical episodes. So we'll continue to do that, to do more research, teach also, and also encourage the young people around us to be more involved in the study
so
of
what
history.
do you think? What do you think about young people today? These young people, they are focusing more on other fields, not on these fields that you mentioned.
Well, if you ask me, it is a tragedy. For any country to ignore, putting the focus on history, literature, languages, anthropology, sociology, and so on. It is, if you do so today, you are really doing the block work for a disaster tomorrow. I am happy that we have revised the curriculum now. National languages are being taught in the schools. That's very good news. I mean, the university, history is being taught, up to doctorate level now. That also is very good news. And I think that should continue. I think the Gambia, we need to train historians, more historians. We need to train more sociologists, more anthropologists, more linguists, because a lot of look at archaeology. I mean, half of the history of our country is still buried, under the ground, or underneath the water. Yeah, archaeology, very, very important area. I mean, if you go to James Island, you go to these Tatars. Just last weekend, I was at Jamali, Jamali Toro. I'm in search of these Tatars, these old fortresses that our ancestors used to build as defensive measures against, attacks. It's a very, very interesting, sector that needs to be studied. But you can only do so if you have archaeologists around.
Yes.
So even for us to reappropriate and better explain our history, we need the humanities and the social sciences. Yes.
So, you're a very, very big advocate of, cultural nationalism and artifacts being returned to museums where they belong. What can you tell us about restitution, being the position that you are in today?
Wow. Now that's very important, and it is timely, and it is really, a current issue, because one of the little known negative impacts of colonial rule was the looting of heritage by the Tubabs. Now, how did they do this? One, they attacked, they defeated our rulers and stole their heritage. Put it into boxes and transported them to England for our case. Like Musa Molo had a big ostrich. Okay, when he was forced into exile in 1919. That ostrich was put onto a boat and taken to Kew Gardens in London. Some of his jujus, some of Musa Molo's jujus are lying in some basement at the British Museum.
Okay.
The British expedition against Salikenye, they looted war drums, copies of the Quran, and so on. And those are still, lying somewhere in the basement of the British Museum. In France, at the Musée de Quai Branly, Jacques Chirac, we have identified over 3 dozen so far. Just a cursory look at their catalog, objects that were stolen from the Gambia. Yeah, some were stolen through war. Some, through our own neglect. People throwing away things. And the Tubab will pick it up, and then see the value and take it. So now there's a clamor at the African Union level, at the ECOWAS level, to return these artifacts back to Africa. And the Gambia, we have done very well on that. A few years ago, we ratified the relevant UNESCO 1970 convention, which has now put us on the firm footing to start reclaiming, our looted objects. Okay. But of course, I should not oversimplify. It is a very, very complicated, if not a very complex, project. But I'm sure with all the support, bilateral, multilateral, local community, we can start to also reclaim our objects back.
Well, that's really interesting. You said it's a very complex process for you to be able to reclaim these things.
It is.
Is it not a matter of going and taking it and returning it to Gambia? How complex is it? Why is it so complex?
You're an artist.
Yes, the thing that belongs to a country belongs to that country.
I listen to you, you're a DJ. You're a DJ.
Yes.
So you are good at spinning records. It's much more difficult than that. Okay. Because too, they have nothing to show. These European countries, they have nothing to show in their museums. Today, if we took all the Gambian objects from the British Museum, some sections of that museum will close. But all what they saw are things from ancient Greece, ancient Africa, ancient Rome, ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Babylon. You see?
Yeah.
That's all what they saw in their museums. So, there is a lot of resistance. And they have made it so, they have allowed this restitution to be sort of caught up in a cobweb of legislative, innuendos and subterfuge. Such that, it can, for example, even, Alaji said, Amar Futi Tal sword.
Yes.
That, they brought to Senegal, President Macron brought to President Macky Sall. It's on loan. Can you imagine? It's not returned. No, it's on loan. Because under French law, the French National Assembly, the Assemblée Nationale, has to vote for that sword
To be returned.
to be returned. And it should be a 99%. Yes. And that's almost impossible.
Yes.
So what they did in Macron, to really, to get the limelight, because he started this, thing, he spoke to our brother Felvin Sarr, to work on it, so Felvin, gave him a very good report, So, the sort of, Alaji said, Omar Futi Tal is in Dakar, but it's on loan.
It's on loan. Senegal
Today,
has
if
to
there's
pay
a new
for it.
director at the Musée Quai Branly Jacques Chirac in Paris, he can just, write to our colleague in Dakar, at the Musée, the Civilisation Noire, please bring back our sword, and the next, aircraft, flying to Paris, will take along that sword. So it is a very, very, they have allowed this thing to be, caught up in such, vexatious, if you like, legal, hurdles. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure with more historical and cultural research and preservation would be advanced.
Yeah.
I just to inspire more young Gambians to take up these topics, can you tell us a bit about how it can solve socio-economic issues that we have in the Gambia today?
Number one, historical consciousness will help us to build more patriots. Now, you really have to appreciate the history of your country.
Yeah.
For you to have patriotic feeling. That one, you cannot build patriots who have no historical consciousness. Then what are you proud of? To be a patriot, you have to be proud of your country by knowing what your country has achieved in the past, and therefore what it can do today and what it can accomplish tomorrow. Now, with our historical knowledge, you cannot be patriots. So, he was just, bemoaning attitudes. Well, if we build more patriots, attitude, will change for the better. But, we can only build patriots if we strengthen the appreciation of national history.
Yeah.
Our heroes and heroines. The great dates, the great achievements in medicine, in sports, in science, in literature, that this country has achieved. The people should know that. Who are the people, who created the Dalasi and the Butut?
Yeah.
Who created our central bank?
Yeah.
Who designed our flag? Who composed our national anthem?
Yes.
You see?
So these are things that we should all know.
Who surveyed our streets? You see? Who are the Gambian sporting greats? In football, in basketball. Who established our national museum, our archives? These are, these are the type of information that the young people should know.
Absolutely.
So that they will be proud of their country.
Absolutely.
And that you can only do by promoting the study of history.
Wow, that is true.
And also your books, because you've written 8 books that are addressing a lot of these historical things.
Just come back to your point. Our work is basically also, because the work of the historian, sometimes we can easily get caught up in like academic arrogance, if you like.
Right.
writing, these long essays, in journals, which few people read, except professors.
Yeah, written.
Okay,
written history.
but through these books and a program like this,
Yes.
we are making history accessible.
Yes.
Okay, and because this is, something you can read,
Yeah, absolutely.
in one day. Okay,
Yeah.
and instead of a 10,000 word, a journal article with citations and footnotes and endnotes.
Do you not think
Yeah.
that's also a problem, that the culture of reading dying is contributing to a lot of people not knowing history?
Well, I think I once overheard him also.
Yes.
Well, this reading.
Hasn't followed this
Reading.
program.
Reading.
Yes.
We have to bring back the culture of reading.
Yes.
And of course, if I say reading, I don't mean him
Yes.
reading his messages. That's not reading.
Yes.
No.
It's a matter of
No.
reading a book.
Reading is serious
Actively,
reading.
Having a
actively
culture to
reading.
read.
Yeah.
Yes, that culture.
Good material.
At least you read a book for a month. One
least.
in a month,
Yeah.
finish a book.
Yeah, and that will broaden our horizons.
Yes.
Our
That-
young people will have more ideas, because just a moment before I conclude. In the 60s, Batos, our capital, was the most intellectual capital in Africa, and there was no university, no college. Why was it so intellectual? You had all these radical youth groups in Banjul then. Independence had come. They said New Gambia. Okay. Now what they cannot do under the Tubabs, now they will do, because we are independent. So you had all these groups like Tonya, like Fansoto, like Black Scorpions, Kwame Nkrumah, Memorial Fund.
Okay.
Now, these were good readers. They wrote and they read.
Okay.
They read all the works of Karl Marx, Lenin, Tolstoy, and Che Guevara, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Touré, George Patmore, Du Bois. They read. In fact, all the place where the museum is, used to be a reading club.
A reading ground.
So they were anti-Jawara, they were anti-government, but highly intellectual.
Yes, we have a message from. Okay.
Oh,
before.
yeah. I just want to
Yes,
ask
quickly.
this question
We've
before you go.
exhausted
I
the
know
time.
this being elected, you've referred to it not only as a personal milestone for you, but as a duty to address challenges that the Gambia has.
Yeah.
So can you tell us some of those things that you...
Well, number one challenge, like I said, is for us to continue promoting the research, study, and documentation of Gambian history.
Okay.
Our development aspirations should be anchored on strong historical knowledge.
Yes.
This country has achieved a lot, but many people don't know.
Yeah.
So, people easily get discouraged, bewildered, whilst in fact they should be proud with their heads held
Exactly.
high up.
Yeah. So one of our viewers said, but with a history of conflict and war, can we take care of these artifacts? And another question say, with lack of investment and corruption, do you think it will be safe with us?
Well, those are two very good questions. The wars. In fact, many of these objects are now in the West because, a civil war came, like in Sudan. They attacked the National Museum and they burnt it and looted it. So that's a very good question.
Yeah.
As far as civil unrest continues in Africa, our heritage will be in danger. That is why, as we speak, the Gambia at the National Center for Arts and Culture, we are just about to have the 1954 UNESCO Convention on the protection of heritage during times of conflict, to be ratified by the National Assembly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a very, very relevant question. You cannot return these objects because, to be frank, where they are well
safe.
kept.
Yes.
Yeah, although that does not mean that they should not come back.
They should not. Yes. But we have to make our
but
work.
they are well
We
kept.
have to do our
But
homework
we
here
should
properly.
do our homework.
Yes.
Maintain peace and stability.
Absolutely, yes.
And make sure that the right facilities and investment is in place, so that when they come, they'll be here for another 1,000 years.
That is true.
If not, we have seen some cases, I think 1 or 2 cases, where objects were restituted only for them to be stolen. Yeah, so those are two
Thank
relevant
you.
questions.
Thank you very much,
Yeah, thank you very
Mr.
much.
Hassoum Ceesay, for coming on this program and sharing this with us. We really appreciate it. And we wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and we pray.
Yeah.
May you live long and be healthy.
Amin ya Rabbi.
Yes, that is very important.
Thank you.
Yes, so Mam Nabu, we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll talk to Modu S. Juf, from the Gambia Press Union. Yes, we'll be back.
Welcome to the QCell 5G Gaming Hub, powered by ultra-fast 5G connectivity from QCell, the fastest network in the Gambia. No lag, no limits, just pure performance. Multiple PlayStations, Xbox racing with full car wheel control, and immersive virtual reality experiences that put you inside the action. Play the biggest titles: FIFA, Call of Duty, NBA 2K, Street Fighter 6, Forza, and many more. Experience gaming like never before. The QCell 5G Gaming Center is open weekdays from 12 p.m. and weekends from 11 a.m. Closed Tuesdays. For bookings and inquiries, call 381-0008. The QCell 5G Gaming Hub. Not just gaming. This is the ultimate gaming experience.
Gambia, are you ready for something big?
From your trusted GSM operator, QCell, your favorite app just got a major upgrade.
From your phone to the world, buy credit, buy Sunu bundle packages, loan credit with eFankanta, and buy Q Power all in one place.
And here's the real upgrade. Q-Money is now fully integrated in the app. Send money, pay bills, save money, so faster and easier than ever.
And for our entertainment lovers, stream QTV, Q Radio Live anytime, anywhere.
But that's not all. This upgrade also brings enhanced security features, smoother performance, and a brand new interface designed to save your time.
This is more than an app.
This is freedom at your fingertips.
Download the new QCell app today and unlock your digital life.
For more information, call our customer care on 111.
QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Vocal si network bu gëna rëy gëna yombale si réewi Gambia bi fii jëfandikool call bu set internet bu gaaw li yëpp si njëg bu yomba fii si QCell dawal léegi si suñ customer care bu la gëna jege ñu may la QCell line te doo si fay dara QCell network bu gëna rëy te it gëna yombale si réew mi fii QCell suñu bas ñoo xaali yoon bi ñeneen toppa
Welcome back after that break. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Balde and I'm with Mam Nabuka.
That was quite an interesting bit with
Yes,
Mr. Hasum.
absolutely. You know, Hasum, Yala Rafo made it. Wow. He got all this stuff in him. So, I think we need to produce a lot of Hasums, for us to know our history very well. But the culture of reading, lolu fok rek ñu try ñu jël ko. Otherwise, we will, our history, we won't know. Yeah, so Mam Nabu, protecting journalists ahead of 2026 elections, we have Modu S. Juf, Secretary General, Gambia Press Union. Mr. Juf, it's good to have you on the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me once again.
Yes. So we'll delve into the topic quickly.
Yes.
How prepared is the Gambia Press Union in protecting journalists ahead of the 2026 election?
Well, we've been engaging at the level of the Gambia Press Union, trying to prepare journalists for the elections, but also providing life skills that would go beyond the elections. What we've been doing at the Gambia Press Union is to provide training for journalists on physical and online safety, but also a more advanced physical safety program called a Hazardous Environment Awareness Training, HEAT. And we've done those trainings from last year to now. We've done about 5 of those trainings in terms of physical and online safety and hazardous environment awareness training. Beyond that, also we've been engaging both political parties and as well as security agencies, especially the police and the army, on the safety of journalists. We had these meetings last week and week before last, both with politicians and security forces, because most of the attacks, especially physical attacks that we record on journalists, are coming from either political party supporters or the police.
Yeah.
So we felt that it was important, like we have done previously, to engage these two actors in terms of making sure that they also play their part in promoting and protecting the safety of journalists. Yeah, when they are doing their job, especially around the elections that are coming. Yeah.
I was going to ask, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I know recently you guys held dialogues with the Gambia Police Force and the Gambia Armed Forces.
Yes.
But apart from that, are there any concrete mechanisms in place to reassure or guarantee the safety of journalists when they're on the ground, apart from holding dialogues?
Well, we engage these political actors and the security and hope that based on the discussions that we've had, that they wouldn't act otherwise and that they would protect journalists when they are doing their job. Obviously, political parties have a responsibility, especially their leaders. You can't invite journalists to a press conference or a political rally. You want them to send your message and you allow your own people to harass them and intimidate them. They have a primary responsibility to make sure that journalists they are inviting to their event to cover their political messaging, do so free from intimidation and harassment. But also the security forces, the police is a human rights protection agency. They have an obligation and a duty to make sure that no journalist is harassed and intimidated for doing their job, but they are not also obstructed for doing their job.
Okay.
So when we met with these political parties, some of the things that we have agreed and they have pledged to do was to include in their own code of conduct the protection of journalists. And also with the police, we've had these discussions, and they have open channels of communications, in ways in which we can address these issues. Beyond that, the Gambia Press Union has developed a safety toolbox for journalists.
Code of conduct, right?
It's different from the code of conduct of journalists. There is a safety toolkit for journalists that we have developed, and it includes both physical and online safety guidelines, but also editorial safety guidelines. It was compiled and published by the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication as the GPU School of Journalism, and it's available on our website. And we want journalists also, in as much as we are engaging other parties, to ensure that journalists stay safe. It's also the role of journalists and the obligation of journalists themselves to also keep themselves safe. Because when you see in our trainings on physical safety, when we conduct them, we tell them that when you are covering a protest, for example, that you don't go and mix up with the protesters. Then if the police fire tear gas, you become eventually a victim immediately, right? So you don't put yourself in harm's way, because the story is not more important than your life. It is also a duty for all the media owners, employers, and also the editors, especially assignments editor, to make sure that when they are sending reporters to the ground, let their safety be a priority.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So have you recorded any intimidation of journalists recently?
Recently, as recent as I think in the last few months, we didn't have cases of direct attacks or physical attacks on journalists. But harassment and intimidation still exist, especially, online abuse against journalists, especially when they write about issues that certain groups of people are not happy with, especially on politicians. There are still these cases of harassment and intimidation. A lot of time, people don't just like what the media is reporting about,
Right.
But it's not the job of journalists to make people happy. We have an obligation, a constitutional obligation, to hold people to account. So if they are just writing about for example, a political leader and his supporters, his or her supporters are not necessarily happy about it, they launch attacks on the media. But it's not the job of the media to please anyone. Yeah, so these cases do exist over time. But around elections, tensions are quite high, and we expect more attacks on journalists. So, but we observe also that during the last election cycle, we had disengagements with security and political parties, and there was very minimal attacks on journalists. We recorded in the last 2021 presidential election only one attack by political party militants on a photojournalist, and there was no attack recorded from the security forces on any journalist. You know, and also even on election day, for things that I have witnessed because I was covering the elections for Bloomberg. In some polling stations, when a journalist is on press jackets, you know, and has gone to vote, they will let them jump the queue, vote, and go and do his daily job of covering the elections. You know, so we hope that this engagement that we've had now also would translate into more meaningful, you know, in a way that journalists are given a smoother environment to do their job during the course of the elections.
So I want to understand which journalists are you protecting? We have a lot of people here calling themselves journalists. You have your phone, you have your tripod, and you start filming. So when you did not exercise professionalism, and you know people also retaliate, then people start talking about the Gambia Press Union should protect their journalists. Who are you protecting?
Yeah, so almost in every conversation it comes up, you know, that nowadays everyone has a mobile phone, you know, and they call themselves journalists. And for us, we don't, in our code of conduct, we define who a journalist is, right? But we don't want to get into those kind of stuff. And we are not responsible for determining who calls themselves a journalist and who is not a journalist.
Right.
One thing we should do, because some of these discussions also can be a little bit tricky, you know, when people deliberately want to restrict people from a right to freedom of expression, you know, and because no one has a right to stop anyone from gathering, receiving, and imparting information. This is a fundamental human right provided by our Constitution and also by international legal instruments like Article 19 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Everyone has a right to receive, you know, and impart information through any media of their choice. So for us, what we are doing, because we are an organized group, and we work with journalists who are working with recognized media organizations, and these are individuals who are registered with us. Primarily, our concern are these people who are registered with the Gambia Press Union, you know, and are known to be working with mainstream media organizations, as well as online media platforms. You know, if on a daily basis what you do is to gather, process information, and disseminate as news to the people, and we consider you as a journalist, you know. But when it has to do with issues of protecting press freedom and freedom of expression, it doesn't matter if you are a member of the Gambia Press Union or not. If your rights are violated as a journalist, whether you are registered with us or not, we need to protect that, because it would have a chilling effect on the entire media environment when anything happens to you. So this is what the Gambia Press Union is looking. So we are also very much aware of concerns from the public about unethical practices, about people who do not necessarily possess journalism skill or have not gone through training. What we have done in the last election and what we intend to do this election as well, for some social media influencers, we would invite them to training, and even though we don't consider them as journalists, but we train them on the code of conduct for journalists, for them to know the do's and don'ts, you know, on what kind of information they can share. But also we intend to do some trainings for them on identifying hate speech and tackling hate speech, as well as identifying misinformation and disinformation, and how to tackle misinformation and disinformation. Because these are influential people, they are young as well, and they could be used as a vehicle, you know, to spread hate speech, incite violence, and spread misinformation and disinformation. So the Gambia Press Union is not leaving anyone behind. You know, we are both working with journalists, but those who are not journalists, but also are in the business of publishing information, gathering and sharing information, we are also reaching out to them as part of.
One could say people flock to influencers the most nowadays.
Yes.
But earlier in your conversation, you were talking about how important it is to hold people to account. And I want us to talk about the Access to Information Act. I know we didn't have it the previous election, but we have it now.
Yes.
What is the GPU doing in advancing its implementation? Because I think it will be very important in the electoral process.
Yeah, currently we do not have any programs around promoting access to information. Yeah, but I think in any case, whatever initiatives are out there, we support, because the Access to Information law was something that was conceived by the Gambia Press Union, working closely with the government until we have this law. We have participated post when the law came into force, in a lot of activities, and as up to 2024, we had projects, that supported the implementation of the law. We've also been participating in technical committees hosted by the Information Commission in terms of developing a framework for the implementation of the law, as well as having rules and regulations for the implementation of the law. I think those were the last engagements that we've had. But the Information Commission also is running a new program supported by the UNDP, through which we will also be involved, in terms of pushing for the implementation. One thing that is critical, because access to information and elections is quite critical, and one thing that's critical for the Gambia to move forward, with the implementation of the law, is to first ensure that all public bodies or public institutions designate information officers. The law says they need to designate an information officer. And if you need access to information, that's the person you write to. But they don't have that at the moment. You can't implement a law without designating information officer. That's the most basic thing that they should all have. Just last month in August, I have written to two government institutions, two ministries, requesting for information. The law says they should even acknowledge receipt of your this. There was even no acknowledgement. There is no acknowledgement. After 21 days, they didn't give me the information. It means a refusal outright. Refusing people access to information is a human rights violation. In other countries, people have taken this thing to court and they won, and the court awarded damages to them, especially in Nigeria and other countries. So I think for us also, for this law to be fully implemented, people need to start taking the Ministry of Information to task, but also the Information Commission and government agencies.
Exactly.
People must utilize the law. They must test it. And if it's necessary to go to court for the refusal of people's right to access information, public information, so be it. But where we are right now, the law is not being implemented. There have been absolutely zero implementation of the law. They are proactively disclosing information here and there. But there are a lot of information that you need from the government and public institutions that you cannot have, and then this law just becomes a paper, gathering dust.
It's important to know to those who are watching, the law is not only limited to journalists.
No. Everyone has a right to access, whether you are a citizen or not. You don't even necessarily have to be a citizen to request for information. This right to information laws, they promote the rights of everyone. Like myself as a journalist as well, I've been writing, requesting information to other countries because I do journalism that's cross-border, and those. And I use their own laws, and they provide me with that information. So here in the Gambia, whatever you are, whether you are a journalist, a student, a farmer, or whatsoever, if you need information, this law gives you the right, to ask. To request for
So what measures, will the GPU take when a journalist report, cases of threat or, assault?
Normally we do our own investigation. When we encourage, what we have been experiencing is that sometimes a lot of people would face harassment, intimidation, or even attacks, and they don't report directly to the GPU. But for us, what we encourage our members to do is that when there is a case and you feel that your rights have been violated as a journalist, report to the Gambia Press Union. And when we receive that, we will also look into it. We'll do our own investigations and determine if this was a violation of press freedom. And if it is, then we take other steps. Sometimes we do engage the parties involved, or the perpetrators, or their institutions. But also we do issue statements, to condemn those actions, or also to raise concerns, with the relevant bodies. But it doesn't stop there, because throughout the whole year we keep documenting these kind of violations.
Okay.
And annually also we go to the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, where we have observer status, to present a statement on this situation, a state of press freedom in the Gambia.
And thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Thank you. We've exhausted the time already.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us, those information. And I hope, authorities will take note, and journalists also will be in their best conduct, in covering certain stories. We have 4 months to elections, and this conversation should be going on and on and on. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ma'am Nabu, this is all we have for today.
Yeah.
Yes. So viewers, we'll be back here tomorrow again for another edition of QTV This Morning. Enjoy the rest of our program.